We're back with the terrific Julie Andrews. Wish we could see her perform every day. Mary Poppins. That came before Sound of Music, right?
Yes, it was the first film I ever did.
That was your first movie?
Yes.
Did Disney bring you out to the coast?
Yes, he did. Actually, I was going to say when we were talking about My Fair Lady and not getting the role in the movie, it really didn't feel so bad, because really a couple of months later Disney asked if I would like to come to Hollywood and see what he'd prepared for Poppins, and I did, and I had a wonderful time and I couldn't resist it. So
did Poppins open about the same time as My Fair?
I know that they were, I think they were nominated the same year, yeah.
That was up to then Disney's biggest hit.
Yes, definitely.
When you read that first movie, that music, incredible. Did you know that was going to make
it had a lovely flavor to it, Larry. I don't suppose you ever really for sure know that something's going to be a hit. You sort of say, well, it appeals to me, but it's all to do with timing and what's, as I say, what's the flavor of the month or the flavor of the year or whatever.
Were you surprised at its reception?
Very happy, very glad. Yeah, a little surprised, but I loved it, so I was just pleased that everybody adored it too.
Had you ever worked with Dick Van Dyke?
No, never have. Have since, but...
Boy, that came off well.
Oh, he's
Was that
a lovely
instant
man.
good chemistry?
Yes, yes. And fun, and it was also a first film for me, and it was so technically difficult with all the animation and all the special effects and things like that. It was a wonderful way to learn how to make a film.
How did Mary fly?
Every which way. I mean, every way that they could fool the eye and you know, and make it happen without your spotting it.
Where along in here did you meet Blake Edwards?
I met Blake in about 67, I think, something like that. And we were married in 69. Maybe I met him earlier than that.
Was it an instant like?
Yes, it was, yeah.
Were you a fan of his work?
Yes, tremendous. In fact, about 3 weeks before I met him, I'd gone to see a double feature of those wonderful Pink Panther films. And then I got a call that he'd like to speak to me about a film. And I met him, and I'm afraid it was instant.
Which film did you do for Blake?
I did, the first film we did together was a musical called Darling Lily, which was not a huge hit, but it was a great joy to make.
Now about The Sound of Music. How did that come your way?
Well, I had made Poppins and I had done Emily. And I honestly don't know. I just sort of... That is one of those wonderful screenplays that does come across one's desk, and I think it came through my agents. It was just an ordinary approach in a way, but gosh...
Who had done that on Broadway?
Mary Martin did it on Broadway.
That's right,
yeah.
With Theodore Bikel.
That's right, yeah. And I thought that she would have done it, but I guess people thought otherwise. But anyway, it was a marvelous...
Now, that was a hit Broadway show.
Yes.
But not a smash. It was a hit, but not through the roof. It wasn't My Fair Lady.
Yeah, the Rodgers and Hammerstein Foundation were generous enough to say that it was one of the few musicals that transferred to film where it was more successful on film.
That's right. That's where I was leading.
And I think The King and I perhaps worked that way, the original film of The King and I, and certainly Sound of Music.
Sound of Music was a bigger movie than it was a Broadway
That's
play.
right, that's right, yeah.
Why did it work so well? Because you could expand it so much?
My God, I mean, look at all the themes, Larry. I mean, lovely children, lovely countryside, lovely theme altogether. I mean, and beautiful music and fun and about the good things in life. I guess it was, you know, the big trouble was to try to not make it too terribly saccharine, because if you weren't careful, you would just drown in sugar, you know.
There was no way of knowing that My Favorite Things would become a Christmas classic, was there?
No, I guess not.
It's hard to become an accepted Christmas tune that's played every year. And
Yeah.
that, of course, is...
It is, yes.
Is part of it. Now, after that, you got married, raised a family, and you didn't, it seemed, capitalize on this enormous success you had in the 60s.
Yeah, well, it probably had a lot to do with marriage and children and things like that.
Is that something you wanted? I mean, was that by design?
Yes, I did a television series for about a year and worked very hard on that. But I really needed to stay closer to home for a while. We were a new family, and you know, Blake had 2 children by a former marriage, and I had a daughter by a former marriage. So we kind of wanted to make ourselves one big unit. And,
Did you turn down anything during that period you
yeah,
regretted?
I did. No, I did. Yeah, I turned down quite a bit.
Like?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you, Larry. I don't think it would be nice to the people who finally
Yeah, but was
got
there any
the role.
mistakes? We've had actors tell us about mistakes they made.
Oh, yeah.
Gregory Peck turned down High Noon.
Did he really?
Jack Lemmon turned down The Hustler.
Oh, my. That's
They
wonderful.
all had reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not going to tell us what you turned.
No, I'd rather not.
What about serious acting, and why didn't you do more Emily-type roles?
I think that's probably the problem with being somewhat bracketed by something that's very popular. I mean, I'd love to, and I've always tried to do as much that it's as varied as possible. But I guess people always say, I guess she's a musical actress, or you know. But I have done other ones. They just haven't been as successful.
What's been, if anything, the secret of this long marriage?
Oh boy, I think we vowed we would take it a day at a time, just that, not have any fantasies about, you know, years from now we'll be an old couple sitting by the fireside. It was just literally, let's take it hour by hour and day by day. And I never expected it to work, and I don't know if Blake did, but it has. We've been married 23 years this year.
We'll be back with our remaining moments with Julie Andrews. The album is out, the new recording of Rodgers and Hammerstein's The King and I, from Philip, is it Philip or Philip Classics? Philip Classics Productions. Ben Kingsley plays the king. Back after this.
When the last little star has left the sky, shall we still be together with our arms around each other? And shall you be my new romance?